Hi, I'm reviewer Brandon, and I know what I've seen it all, stared into the gaping maw of death, and I'm here to remind you of the horror that lurks everywhere. No, don't get up. You know, you young people, you like to scoff at us older folks, us squares, the folks that you see as the establishment, the man. You don't like our rules. You see that the rules are just there to put you down and to keep you down. Well, let me tell you something, mister. As you get older, you find those rules aren't there just for arbitrary reasons. We're not trying just to squeeze you under our thumb. We're trying to protect you. We're trying to keep this world safe for everyone. And to do that, sometimes you need rules. Yeah, to the young folks, those rules may seem a little oppressive. You just wait till you're the one in charge. You wait till you're the one whose safety is important. Then you're going to find those rules. They come in pretty dang handy. And this goes not just for societal rules, but for personal rules. The code that a man must live by. I can tell you right now, I've lived by a code for most of my life. I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I owe it all to following the code. And part of that code states, I will not see movies with Will Ferrell in them. Now, I know what you're saying. I've heard it said 100 times. Oh, Brandon, it ain't so bad. Take a hit of Anchorman. It's just a little fun film. It'll leave you feeling good. Sure, maybe it will leave you feeling good for a while. But then you go looking for that good feeling and you can't find it anymore. Next thing you know, you're turning tricks on the street to go see Holmes and Watson. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a perfect man. I've had my slip-ups. Just like that last sentence. I've had my slip-ups. I remember back in college, we all experimented there. And I remember, I tried a little Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. Told myself it wasn't a big deal. He wasn't the star. It was a Kevin Smith vehicle. He was just a character in it. And you know, that lie worked for a while. But it didn't scrub away the stain on my soul. I tripped up a second time, too. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was young. I was foolish. I was in my early 30s. And as always, with a man that age, what makes him trip up? What makes him go down the dark path? Well, he's dating a younger woman. And this younger woman, she was free-spirited, danced in the night. And she said to me one day, "Baby, you try this hit of Stranger Than Fiction." And yeah, I tried it. And I'll even say that I liked it a little bit. But I couldn't get the taste out of my mouth. I saw the trailer for Step Brothers. And I'll tell you, there isn't enough mouthwash in the world. Well, kids, here today, I'm getting older. I'm a few days away from my birthday, and as the man gets older, he says, maybe I need to try those indiscretions of youth once more. Maybe I'm missing out on something like all the kids say. And I tried a Will Ferrell movie. Again, I told myself, it didn't feel like a normal Will Ferrell movie. It didn't seem as idiotic. He wasn't acting like a jackass. It's got Julia Louis-Dreyfus in it. It's an independent film. It's won all sorts of those little, leafy awards that they like to put on posters at the Independent Film Festival. Go ahead, man. Give it a try. Live a little. Well, I did. And let me tell you, kids, it don't taste good. So, that little morality play should give you a bit of a feeling of my emotions towards downhill. I tried to like it. I really did. And it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But it's not good either. I'm not going to also be so horrible to blame that all on Will Ferrell. I don't believe it's his fault. Matter of fact, if I'm being completely honest, of all the Will Ferrell movies, I feel this is one of the least Will Ferrell. I feel he's trying to act again, which is good. As I mentioned, much as it leaves a disgusting taste in the back of my mouth, he was very good in Stranger Than Fiction. You know, gotta give the devil his due. Problem is, there are certain aspects of the screen persona that just don't come off no matter how hard you scrub. You know, people ask me, you know, why don't you like modern comedies? Why don't you like movies starring people who used to be on Saturday Night Live? Come on, watch this Adam Sandler film. Watch Chris Farley. Watch David Spade. What do you got to lose? And the honest answer I have for that is because most of the time, these people are playing completely reprehensible characters. And why do I want to spend time with assholes and jackasses? And that is kind of one of the problems we land in here with this movie. So if you haven't heard of this movie, so Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Will Ferrell are a married couple. They're on a ski resort vacation with their two sons, and one day as they're sitting out on the deck eating, the resort launches a controlled avalanche, something ski resorts do to keep it from becoming a real avalanche. So the snow is barreling down the mountain and it's coming real close to them, and for a second it looks like it's gonna hit. So Julia Louis-Dreyfus grabs her children, Will Ferrell grabs his phone and runs. And so the rest of the movie is dealing with the fallout of that decision. And what makes this movie difficult, and I think it's supposed to be, I think this is by design. Here's the thing about a lot of things I'm going to say about this movie. I think a lot of them are by design, and they're not bad choices. They're just choices that didn't work for me. You know, things like Birds of Prey, I think is just awful. But I think here, I see what they were going for, but I think a lot of times it just didn't work. And I think that's just a personal thing. I think other people may see this and really dig it, whereas I'm watching it going, oh my God, please stop. So one of the first problems, and I don't know if this is actually a problem or if it's just, I don't know, is that, okay, so the movie is about him coming to terms with this and about Julia Louis-Dreyfus being mad at him for it, rightfully so. But they never once try to explain why he did what he did in that moment. And maybe that's a good thing, because as I'm saying that, I'm thinking about, well, what would that scene have looked like? And it probably would have given him some monologue of, you know, I have all my memories on the phone, the last text from my dad, you know, I don't know. It would have been a monologue of bullshit that wouldn't have worked. So maybe it's a good thing they left it out. So you're left watching this film about this guy who did a horrible thing, has no excuse for doing a horrible thing, is denying that he did a horrible thing. You're like, why the fuck am I watching this? Okay? You're watching a fight. You're watching a married couple have a fight. Now, to the film's credit and to the actor's credit, it's a very realistic fight. You know, so you're watching a fight, and it's a very uncomfortable thing to be in the middle of. And once again, I'm the only person in the theater. So you feel like you are alone in the room with a fight going on. Which is, again, I have a feeling that's what they were going for, so big credit to the actors and directors and all that for creating a realistic moment. But I'll tell you, it was not fun to watch. There's a scene in here. This film is made up of scene after scene of uncomfortableness, of just going, please shut up. There's a scene in here where the fight really breaks, because after the incident, they're doing this, passive aggressive, I'm mad, but I'm not going to say I'm mad, and all this. And it finally comes out when they're having drinks with Will Ferrell's obnoxious friends that Julia Louis-Dreyfus doesn't like. And it all comes out, and it's like a scene out of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. And you're wondering, why doesn't this other couple get up and leave? And while wondering that, I also was wondering, why haven't I gotten up and left? I was close to getting up and leaving this movie, and that has not happened a lot. I've sat through a lot of shit. And if it's not scenes like that, it's scenes of just people talking and irritating conversations. And you're just like, shut up, 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 shut up! So, in the midst of this, here's another issue I have, is this movie can't tell if it's trying to be a serious look at this relationship after a moment of truth and someone fails, or if it's trying to be a lighthearted 80s style vacation comedy. There are scenes and things in this movie that feel like they are ripped right out of, Summer Rental or The Great Outdoors or one of the National Lampoon vacation movies. There is a hostess at the hotel who is doing a really overly exaggerated Swedish accent who's just too much. She's like, no, you have good body. You have wonderful body. It's like, so she's overblown. She hooks Julia Louis-Dreyfus up with a handsome ski instructor who, of course, tries to fuck her. Will Ferrell and his annoying buddy are having drinks, and ladies are sending drinks over, are saying, oh, my friend thinks you are very sexy. She likes the way you handle yourself. And, so this movie can't decide, are you trying to be an 80s vacation comedy? Or are you trying to be this serious look at an actual relationship falling apart after someone fails a test of character? It's trying to straddle the line, and it doesn't make it in either sense, at least to me. The comedy isn't funny, and this is a weird criticism to give, but it's one I'm going to give. And the fighting is too well done that it feels too real. You feel uncomfortable. And again, I think that's what they were going for. So kudos to them for accurately recreating a fight, but it's not something I enjoy being in, and it's not something I enjoy watching. And it's also a fight that, quite frankly, you don't see how this is going to have a happy Hollywood ending to it. Now, it doesn't, because it's an independent film, but it still tries to have a happy ending, and you're like, I don't see how you'd get past this, honestly. I really don't see how you fix this. I can't. You just can't. I'm sorry. You do something like that, and it's like, buddy, you made a choice, and you're kind of fucked. Yeah, So you feel like you're watching something that there's no way it can end logically or with satisfaction. They try to. The ending shot is one you're like, oh, things are going to be okay. You're like, no, because what he does at the end, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who wants to go watch it, is not an equivalent to what he did at the start, Again, I'm going to stress a few things here because I feel in the interest of fairness, this is all coming from my point of view. I did not enjoy this film, but I see that it has hallmarks. I see that there is some good stuff going on. Again, I give Will Ferrell credit for not doing his usual asinine Will Ferrell thing. He's trying to act. It doesn't work for me, but I give him the credit. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is good, but again, she's playing, even in her rightness, okay? She is the character who is morally right in all things. When the guy tries to fuck her, she doesn't let him, so good on her. But even then, she's still playing kind of your typical, stereotypical, overly fussy, overly protective mom character. So you still feel like even though you have a good actor, you're watching them play a very flat character. I understand. I think I understand a lot of this was ad-libbed, and you can tell it's very, we think this is funny ad-libbing, and it's really not. At least, again, to me, it's not a Christopher Guest movie. Yeah, this one's just not for me. It might be for you, but it's not. It's just, it doesn't work for me. As a comedy, I didn't laugh at all, and as a drama, it was, I don't know, it was too much, and with no satisfactory ending that you can do with it. And again, that's not a bad thing. I think this movie might have been better, honestly, God, forgive me for saying this, if it had been a little bit more on the Will Ferrell side, or like I say, if you're gonna play that 80s over-the-top vacation film, you need to push that button all the way down. Just doing it halfway doesn't work. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this one. I don't know quite what else to say. So, final grade for this one, I'm gonna go a D on this one, and I'm being a little bit mean, but really, it was a movie that I felt uncomfortable watching, and really, honestly, multiple times was like, I should just get up and leave. I really felt that way. So I'm going a D. I think maybe in reality it's more of a C, maybe C minus, but for me, I'm going a D. So there it is. There it is, kids. I've done my public service. Once again, I've tried to help. I'm not going to go in. I am going to go where I can do some good, where maybe I can keep other people from watching Will Ferrell movies. So if the next car I stop happens to be yours, don't tell me that you were just watching a Will Ferrell movie a little bit. That you were only laughing at it a little bit. You save that for the next guy, buddy. Why don't they look, Matt? Tell me. Why don't they look?